we have some really, really bad news and some really, really good news. This affects just under about 1 million veterans in total. So let's just go ahead and jump straight into it. We're going to start with the bad news first. And the bad news affects me and my family, which really, really sucks. We're actually considering moving out of the state. We already were beforehand, but this definitely pushes us towards, going over that edge. If you get value from this channel, go ahead and like, subscribe, do all the things. Let's go ahead and jump straight into it. If you don't know, I live in Fairfax County, Virginia, and Virginia has just signed. It's not into law yet, okay? But they just signed a bill in the Senate. It's moving down to the House. That would essentially take away not just 100% P&T veteran benefits, but also Gold Star family. So, for instance, if I was killed in action, my children would be able to go to school for free in Virginia. Well, you get eight semesters is the deal for free. Or if I'm 100% P&T, my children can go to school 8 semesters for undergrad programs, and there's some programs for grad school as well. Well, the bill that the governor signed, and it's going to the state house, essentially, it doesn't necessarily get rid of it completely. The language in there forces veterans to use other financial aid first, and it'll go to a needs-based program, but the stipulations essentially take the benefit away. And I'm going to leave these links down. If you're a veteran in Virginia, you do not have that many days to start complaining. So if you're gonna do anything, you need to complain right now. But Virginia Governor Glenn Youngkin signed executive directive for a task force to be done to figure out the effects of this bill if it does pass. And you can say the program is called VMSDEP, which is Virginia Military Survivors Independence Education Program. I want to show you exactly what the program is for. The program run by, this is a state county VSO, covers 8 semesters of in-state tuition for children and spouses of permanently disabled veterans, so 100% P&T or IU P&T, or for those missing, killed in action, or killed or prisoners of war. So that's the program we're talking about here. If this passes, I can assure you that my wife and I are really looking at Huntsville, Alabama. That's neither here or there, okay? But in addition, expected family contribution. So there is some language in there that is very weird, right? Because 8 semesters are free, but then the new proposed bill talks about family contributions, which does not make that free. When I say free, I mean, yes, taxpayer dollars are supporting that, but it's not coming out of that veteran's pocket. I mean, we pay taxes as well. Now, there's supposed to be a grandfather clause, but the issue is the grandfather clause is not clear. So, for instance, is the grandfather clause whenever my children start school? So that way the program doesn't take away the plan they already had in place. Or my children are very young right now. Is a grandfather clause for veterans who are already meet the criteria? It seems it's indicated that it's the first one, that if you're already in school, you're going to be safe. And if you're not, you're kind of SOL, which really sucks. That really sucks for me. And for instance, Owen, the wife of a disabled veteran, had planned to further her education to become an NP, but she said she no longer qualifies. Okay, so that was the second scenario. McFadden is a disabled veteran from the U.S. Marine Corps, yet and is unsure if his high school senior is grandfathered in. There we go, and that was the second scenario. Okay, and so it just really depends, man. I mean, this sucks. This is bad news for veterans of Virginia. If you plan on moving to Virginia, what sucks about Virginia is the Northern Virginia area that's very close to DC and Maryland. There's tons of federal positions, of government contract positions where military experience directly correlates with the civilian world. So there are a ton of veterans, almost 1 million veterans in Virginia, and this is going to affect a lot of people. All right. Now let's go ahead. We're going to end this on a good note. What I do want to show you is another bill, and this one is not proposed or it's not sitting. This was passed. So if you are in Connecticut, this is final. This has passed. You now get property tax exemption if you are 100% PNT. Congratulations, Connecticut. There are over 100,000 veterans in Connecticut, just over 1,000. I want to say 1,200, and it says somewhere in this article, and I'll have these below in the pinned comments. About 1,200 veterans do rate 100% PNT and are now eligible for property tax exemption. That is for one home and one vehicle. And if you're not in Connecticut, figure out what your state benefits are. And I will say this, they differ. And so in Virginia, there is back pay allotted. I want to say it's up to 3 years. Don't quote me on that. You can look it up if you want on the Department of Veteran Services for Virginia. But some states have a back pay allocation or time frame to that, just like your effective date, if you will. Some states don't. Right? Some states have property tax exemption if you're 100% PNT. Some states have partial property tax exemption. Some states have none. And so this is a state level benefit. It really depends on what state you are in. But the bill in Connecticut is House Bill 5491, exempt property tax for the primary residences of veterans who are totally and permanently disabled. All right, there we go. 1,209. That was pretty close. And this also includes if the veteran owns a home and one or more vehicles, one of the veteran's vehicles is also eligible for the tax exemption. That is pretty common. There are, I want to say, about 20-ish states around that ballpark, 20 to 30, that have full property tax exemption for your primary residence and your primary vehicle. All right. And most states require the veteran be on both of those. So it can't be your spouse's vehicle unless your name is on the vehicle. It's got to be registered in your name. Okay. So on paper, it's got to be, quote unquote, your vehicle, even if you're secondary on that. The bill in Connecticut would take place of the current weaker property tax exemptions for veterans in the state, which presently allow for an exemption of up to $1,500 for veterans with up to 90 days of wartime service. Disabled veterans are also eligible for some additional exemptions under current statute. And look at this. Although some House Republicans voiced concerns, the legislation passed with a 143-0. That is what we like to see, man. Connecticut, good on you. Virginia, you suck, okay? Virginia, as of right now, Virginia is one of the best, I would argue, top 3 states to live in if you are a veteran. If the VMS DEP bill is passed, which is already signed by the governor and pushed down to, or the governor signed the task force to allocate that, and it's being brought to the House right now. If that goes through, man, Virginia's not going to be good. Okay, Virginia's not going to be good. Me personally, Alabama's in my list. We have some family in that area, in the Kentucky, Tennessee, Alabama area, and it just makes sense. So, food for thought. If you are 100% PNT and your state benefits suck, especially if you have children, you could move, right? I know that's going to be stressful, but you can move. And state veteran benefits for 100% PNT it can change the trajectory of your family's like generational wealth. So it is absolutely worth considering. No matter the stress that would come with that, it can be absolutely worth it.